If you knew how strong you were as a person and how powerful you actually are, would you feel the need to doubt yourself? Welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, there is no right or wrong way to heal yourself, so always and only take what resonates and leave the rest, as well as grab your pen and your paper and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over 5 recommendations on how you're going to continue to embrace your strengths and step into your power, as well as 5 disclaimers and 5 things to be aware of, so therefore you do not self-sabotage yourself or allow anybody externally to abuse your power, to manipulate your power, or make you feel like you don't have any, because you are powerful and you are strong. The first thing that you have to be aware of when it comes to your power is that it is for you. Your powers, your gifts, your talents are for you to nurture, are for you to take care of, and you are allowed to exude them. You are allowed to celebrate them. You are allowed to celebrate yourself. You have to realize that there are some things in this life that you know how to do. You don't have to be better than the next person, but you are equipped. You are educated. You do have the resources. You do have the knowledge. You do have the experience. It is okay to be powerful. It is okay to be strong. It is okay to be good. It is okay to be great. That's nothing that you need to be embarrassed of, ashamed, hide, or dim. The second thing you have to be aware of is that if people and places and things cannot accept that about you, they don't need to be for you. It's really important that when you know your power, when you know your strengths, you're surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded. No, you don't have to have the same gifts and talents as everybody else. No, you don't need to compare yourself. But if you are you and other people are them and they're being authentic and they step into their powers and they embrace them, it's not a competition. It doesn't have to be evil eye. It doesn't have to be envy. It doesn't have to be animosity. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm better than you. It doesn't have to be any deflection or projection. When you know that you have certain capabilities, you embrace them, and most importantly, you share them. You share them with people. You give. You pour, you give. If you want certain things in return, you reap what you sow. So you pour into people, people pour into you. It's mutual. It's not a give and take. It's I pour into you, you pour into me, and you have boundaries. You're firm in them. You never have to dim your light or worry about what you say or what you do when you're being true and you're stepping into your power 100% when you are you. You're only going to have that problem with people who don't feel strong and who are not powerful. And this is not to discredit them. This is not to knock anybody. Once again, we're here to motivate, educate, and inform. So keep that in mind. The third thing is validating your power. Embrace that you have certain capabilities. Embrace that you have certain skills. Embrace the fact that you spent your time, your energy, and effort learning things, right? Once again, it's not about comparing, because there are other people who have talents and gifts. It's just, you know you're good at it. If you know you're good at something, you're allowed to be great. You never, like I said, have to shrink yourself to fit in. If you're shrinking yourself, if people are making fun of you, if people try to manipulate you, they're not powerful. Remove yourself, because what happens is, if you don't know your powers, if you don't know how strong you are, people who don't feel that way about themselves, they will try you. It's unfortunate. Why? Because these people don't take the time to focus on their own energy and their own power. So keep that in mind. Those are disclaimers when it comes to you stepping into your power and embracing your powers. So now, what if you're asking me, well, I don't know my powers. I don't know my strengths. Well, what are your weaknesses? These are the recommendations. Your homework assignment, and I challenge you guys, because once again, this is an educational content. I'm challenging you, and let me know in the comment section, and when you're taking your notes, what are your weaknesses? Let's start there. In order for you to know your strengths, and in order for you to know your powers, you need to know what your weaknesses are. So what do you lack? And you know what your weaknesses are. You know what your power is, right? You may not know subconsciously, or maybe you never talked about it. Maybe you've been suppressing it, but if you know your weaknesses, you know your strengths. So what are your weaknesses? What do you lack? What do you feel insecure about? You have to be vulnerable. You have to be honest. You have to talk about it. Why? Because you could turn your weaknesses into strengths. We turn negative energy into positivity. We transmute the energy. And just because you're weak at something, a lot of times it's because you lack certain resources. You lack certain information. You lack certain finances. You don't have the same access. You can learn. You can embrace. You can become equipped. You can practice. And then you can become better. So until we figure out what our weaknesses is, until we acknowledge that maybe we have doubt, until we acknowledge maybe we're not confident, until we acknowledge maybe we weren't taught and shown, you're constantly going to feel like you have to compare yourself, or that you have to be envious, or that you have to be like other people. No, you could be yourself. Your homework assignment, if you're new here, is to take time, figure it out on the sheet of paper that you're taking your notes on, or in the comment section, let me know. And to comment in this video or the following video. Okay? Number 2, once we identify our weaknesses, I want you to figure out what you can do with your weaknesses and how you can start to embrace them, how you can start getting better. So if you lack confidence in your appearance, your physical appearance, what can you start doing today when you're watching this video or whenever you have the time to make you feel better or make you become more confident in yourself? What can you do? What can you physically do? What can you emotionally do? What can you do financially? The third thing you need to do is figure out what you have control over. What resources do you have? So therefore, you could start taking the action. Once again, you have certain weaknesses. It's not the end of the world. You have insecurities. 99 to 100% of the time, you could solve them. If you want to know how, let me know. You have to be bold. You have to be vulnerable. You can't be worried about people judging you or people. That's not important. When you're a powerful person, when you know you're strong, you know that sometimes maybe there's certain things that you can work on. Like I said, mature, strong, powerful people, regardless if they're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, hey, gay, them, she, we, elemental P, LGBTQ, RST, they're not going to judge you. They're not going to make fun of you. Only weak, non-strong, non-powerful people feel the need to compare you or to bring you down or to humble you or make fun of you. There are things that everybody can work on, including myself. That's why I make these videos. So now, the first 3 recommendations, I'm going to tie it all up into one. You also have to realize that when you are working on your weaknesses and you realize that you can change these things, that you can embrace these things, the 4th thing is stepping into your power, knowing what you are good at, continuing to pour into that, continue to take the time to learn and educate yourself and become equipped, and you're surrounding yourself with people who have similarities as you. When you know how strong you are and you practice daily or whenever you get the chance, you're not going to feel the need to compare yourself. You're not going to feel the need to doubt yourself. So you have to keep in mind that when you are somebody who struggles with insecurities and you want to become confident, this is time consuming. All these videos on this account, when you see me on YouTube, because this is educational content, it's educational, which means you have to unlearn and learn. It could take years, weeks, days, months. No need to compare yourself. Like I said, excuse me. It's time consuming, especially if you were never taught, you were never shown, or you feel like you're trying to figure out life by yourself. This is why I created this platform. You keep whining, you keep crying, you ask for a sign. Here it is. You got to take the information. You got to take what resonates. You got to apply it. You got to practice. You have to be practical about what you're able to do in order for you to be the best version of yourself, to be the most powerful version of yourself. So once again, if you're somebody who lacks confidence in your appearance and you want to change your appearance, you got to work on those things. It's important that, yes, when you work on your exterior, you work on your interior. You're going to do both simultaneously. Hopefully I said that word correctly. But in order for you to change the negative thoughts inside yourself, you have to acknowledge them, which we talked about. You have to realize how it's affecting you. And then you have to realize what are our solutions. As you change your external, you're going to change your mindset. As you change your insides, your outsides are going to change. But if you don't realize that inside, maybe you don't feel that good about yourself, or maybe you don't feel as strong, trying to fake it until you make it or trying to act like you don't have issues is not going to help you in the long run. And to be honest, I don't promote or condone that. I don't condone it at all. It's no need to be delusional when we can be practical about what's in our control versus what's not. Because when you realize what you have control over and you realize the things that you don't, you just accept things for what it is. You don't have to be so stressed out. You don't have to be so overwhelmed. But most importantly, when you are stepping into your power, you have to learn how to be confident in it. You never have to shrink yourself. Like, everybody on this earth could win. Everybody's job is not going to be the same because everybody doesn't want the same things in life. But it's like, if everybody was who they claim or projected on to be, people would be able to win. Everybody would be in their own lane because none of us are the same. Like, yes, kumbaya, if you're into spirituality or religion, we're equal, we're all one, etc., etc., tomato, tomorrow. But it's like, we're individuals at the end of the day. So it's like, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing if that doesn't work for you. If you want to, be true to who you are, make it into your own thing. That's how you end up having originality. That's how you have authenticity. But it's like, when you know how powerful you are, you do you. And whoever doesn't like it, it doesn't matter. Anything that's outside of you, that's not positive, that's not strong, that doesn't help you grow, that doesn't finance you, that's important to you, it doesn't matter. So now, I need you to create some affirmations as you do your homework assignment. There's a lot of homework assignments in this video. There's a lot of challenges that you have. I need you to create an affirmation that you can say to reassure yourself when you decide to become confident, because this is something that's going to take time. So if you're a negative Nancy and you want to be a positive Patty and you struggle with thinking highly of yourself or putting yourself first or being confident, I need you to create an affirmation to reassure you that will make you feel good about yourself. And over here, there's no limitation to confidence or power or abundance. The only people who feel the need that you or I are self-centered or full of ourselves are people who are not. Self-centered means you're full of self. People say God complex if you believe in God. If you have a God complex, that means God is the center of your complex, your whole. Let's be for real. Nobody who is full of themselves in a positive way looks down on other people. That's arrogance. There's a difference between being arrogant and being confident. When you're confident, you know who you are, you take up space, you do what you want, you say what you do, as long as you're not out here hurting and harming people, because I don't condone that. Arrogant people feel the need to talk down on other people and look down on other people and think they're better than people and compare themselves and compete. You don't have to compare yourself or compete with people if you're confident. But that's going to be a different topic for a different day. So it's just like, what are some affirmations that you could say to reassure yourself to help you with your confidence as you're figuring out what you need to work on, what you lack, and what it is that you want? Yes, when it comes to manifestation and receiving abundance and being the most abundant version of yourself, it's important to have vision so you can create a vision board. It's important to, surround yourself with people who you want to be like, but you still have to make sure you're putting in the work. You still have to be practical. You still have to, have days where you show up, and you're going to have days where you rest. So it's just like, you need to be able to reassure yourself. And most importantly, when you know how powerful you are, you move with intention. Power, people who are strategic, people who have the most power and who are wise and who are genuinely powerful, not faking it till you make it, and not on an external, I'm talking about internal. If you know, move with intention. They move with intention. It's not a coincidence. So just keep that in mind. So an affirmation you could say is that I am powerful. I am strong, even when you don't feel like it. Why? Because just because you're resting, just because you're starting off, just because you have insecurities, just because you have doubts in the beginning, doesn't mean that you're less of a person. You have to keep telling yourself, I'm powerful. Like I said, don't be out here trying to abuse and take advantage of people, because that's not power, that's weakness. And you have to realize that only weak people go out their way to bring down other people. We don't condone that. Like I said, I don't care what your race is, your gender, or however old you are. That's not going to work over here. Now, if you want to be arrogant and stuck up in a negative way, take that somewhere else. But over here, I'm not going to tolerate it. And neither are you. Because it's degrading and it's disrespectful. And when you're powerful, you don't have to be degrading. You don't have to be disrespectful. And most importantly, stop beating yourself up. Because when you know how powerful you are, you know how strong you are, you know when you do certain things. You know when to take a moment. You know when to speak, you know when you do things, and etc. And you just know. You'll just have a sense of knowing. So I'm going to leave the video with that. You have a lot of homework assignments. Once again, they're due in the comment section down below or in the next video when you see this, as well as your sheet of paper and when you take the time to yourself. So thank you guys for watching the video all the way to the end. Thank you for giving it a big thumbs up and turning on your post notifications and making sure you're subscribed and liking the video, as well as follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below. If you are interested in the service in the session, make sure you guys are clicking the link and reading your booking policy, so therefore you're aware of your appointment. Our website is in the description, as well as follow me on my Instagram and on my TikTok, so therefore I can answer you guys' questions on live. That's where I go live, right? If you're not able to afford a session in the service. And you can DM me if you have something more confidential to say. You guys heard that? That was my chair. I don't know if you guys heard that. That was my chair. But if you have anything confidential to say, you want to share, let me know. But you're powerful. You're allowed to take up space. You don't have to second guess yourself. There's no need for you to doubt yourself. And most importantly, if anyone has a problem with you being powerful, and like I said, you're not being evil, you're not malicious, you're not abusing people, you're not taking advantage of people, they're not for you. They can either learn or they can move around. Okay? Love you. Bye.